I'm joined by Gaz.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
And today, no one expected it, we're talking about the Spanish Inquisition.
Hey.
I've been saving that one all week, lads. Saving it all week. So, what we got? We got some new listeners in certain places. Oh, anywhere exotic. Muzaffarabad in Pakistan. Wow, interesting. Somewhere in Japan. I'm not going to try and pronounce it.
Kuala Lumpur.
Kuala Lumpur. Ooh.
Yeah.
Malaysia. Exotic. Bangalore in India, we've had that one. Homebush, like that.
Homebush, Australia. Wow.
Get a few Aussies listening, don't we?
Probably one of the few countries that can actually understand what the fuck we're saying.
And the same sense of humour.
Well, yeah.
And they just call us Poms.
And, you know, they're criminals, we're criminals.
They're more like criminals though.
Yeah.
Sorry Australia, but it's true.
Not really.
Columbus, Ohio, which is interesting because we had Tallahassee, you know, we've got Columbus, so it's like Zombieland.
Well, thank you, new listeners
you
from
very
around
much.
the world. You make us feel very, what's the word?
Humbled
And validated. The fact that you listen in to us three alleged stoners chatting bollocks every Sunday. It's great.
I like it.
We'd still be doing it if you weren't listening.
Oh, you can't get rid of something. We'll always be there, lurking.
Thanks. Tell a friend.
Tell many friends.
Yeah.
Tell everyone on your Facebook list, that'd be nice.
Share. Do a share.
Leave us a recommendation.
Good to share.
Unless it's VD.
Well. You're not wrong. Leave a positive review. Keyword being positive. If you've got anything good to say.
Do one.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, so you would like to start with weird news. This goes out on Facebook Live. The rest of the episode will come later on one of the various formats when we release our podcast. iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere you can get a podcast effectively.
Pretty much.
YouTube as well. I always forget YouTube. And on our page.
Yep.
So.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
First bit of weird news this week, I'll do this one. 3 men jailed for sex with cow, goat, 9 horses and an unknown number of dogs.
Wow.
Fucking animals.
For the Independent as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just some salacious.
So
This is factual.
David Cameron.
And his mates. Big fucker. Every year on his birthday I send him a pig cake on Twitter.
That's the only time you tweet.
Yeah.
So 3 men who forced a teenager to restrain 9 female horses, a cow, a goat and dogs while they had sex with the animals have been jailed for decades.
Wow.
Matthew Brubaker, 31, Terry Wallace, 41 and Mark Mesnikoff, 34 were all sentenced to 20 to 41 years in prison on Monday after regularly abusing at least 12 animals for years. The discovery was made after police were called to remote, I'm going to quote here, this is a quote, makeshift farm.
The worst kind of farm.
I hope they weren't doubling it as a petting.
Is it a house? Is it a farm? Or is it a house that's just so shitty it looks like a farm? Somewhere in between.
Maybe they're just living in a barn that's falling down.
Animal farm.
Animal farm. All the men lived in Munson, Pennsylvania. Munson from, the bowling film, Kingpin. He was from Munson, Roy Munson.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, the film references are coming thick and fast. In August 2018, according to Clearfield County District Attorney's Office, they were arrested after a 16-year-old boy living at the property told police the men had been having sex with all the animals in a specially designed V-shaped pen.
Okay, let's break down the science
Hang on.
here.
Officers found a large volume of homemade videos, recording equipment and cameras.
Yeah, we make Animal Farm.
Yeah.
A V-shaped pen. So they've put some thought into this. So
Yeah,
I
they
take
can't
it
get out, can
a
they?
V-shaped pen though. There must be something specific about the V they must naturally go to the point.
Oh,
Do you know what I
maybe.
mean? They gather in the point, so that's where you can meet them with your point. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
The rest is history.
Yeah, wow. I mean, once again, this is a common theme that I often find myself talking about on this show. What's wrong with a wank?
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with a wank. It's a magnificent pinnacle of evolutionary design, the fact that all you need is your hand and a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
seconds sometimes, and you could attain a feeling of wonderness. You don't need animals, asphyxiation, weird rigs that you've constructed out of cardboard cutouts, a bag of grapes and some gaffer tape. You know, you just stick it in your hand.
You know, if you don't have a loving partner who's human,
We've got this
then
awesome alternative
yeah.
called having a wank. These fucking idiots have always got to overcomplicate it
Yeah,
and
but
try
they-
and up the fucking ante.
Oh, it's the taboo, isn't it? They've become. You know.
I was fucking a sheep better than a wank, and I'm Welsh.
You should know.
Yeah, which is better, guys?
Wanking's definitely more pleasant than sheep. It's the smell and the furriness around the vagina.
Yeah, I bet the wall gets quite
The,
matted
the,
in front as well,
encrusted,
isn't
the
it?
encrusted sheep shit layer that you've
Yeah,
got to get through
yeah,
before
yeah.
you can, you know.
You have to take a pair of
You have
shears
to,
with
you
you.
have
It's
to, no,
inconvenient.
you have specific tools. You have your sheep shit chisel, your
Chisel.
Velcro gloves,
Wellies.
your wellies that are 2 sizes too big so you can fit their back legs in the front of your wellies. I mean, this is all just standard practice.
Is there a kit you can buy? Just
Yeah, really. It represents 13% of the Welsh economy. I'm allowed to say it, my dad's Welsh. And I fuck sheep.
allegedly. No? Okay, no, allegedly withdrawn. So there you go, that's pretty much that in a nutshell.
Wow, what a lovely story.
Yeah.
Thanks. It forced a 16-year-old to headlock a sheep while they fucked it.
It's not disturbing at all.
Oh my god.
He will not grow up to have any issues whatsoever.
No. Wow. And it's like you can see the escalation, you know. They started with dogs, goat, horse, and then built up to the cow. I mean, you're brave trying to fuck a cow.
Yeah, they kill a lot of people.
Yeah, just by stepping on him. I wouldn't go interfering with its gibbly bits.
You wouldn't suckle it up in its udder.
Not even if you told me like liquid ecstasy comes out of the
Yeah.
teat, I still wouldn't put one in my mouth. I would pay a Vietnamese sex slave who's over here illegally to milk it for me, obviously, at a reduced rate.
Do you know many of them?
1 or 2. Apparently that's who grows the weed in this country. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Vietnamese sort of slaves.
Lovely. Good on them.
This lovely weed that allegedly tobacco. Moving on.
Moving on, next piece of news then, what we got? Who wants to do this one?
Go on then, Mike.
Go on then. Genius St George's Day prank teaches nationalists about ethnic origins of patron saint.
It was St George's Day last week, wasn't it?
Ah.
What are the ethnic origins of our patron saint?
Well, we'll find out when we read the article.
Oh,
He's
that's handy.
Macedonian, isn't he?
He's
I
a
did
few,
not
I think
know.
he's Syrian, actually. Anyway, this is quite funny. I like this.
Nationalists celebrating St George's Day of the weekend were given an unexpected history lesson about the ethnic origins of England's patron saint. Representatives from anti-hate crime charity Tell Mama
It's a bad name for a charity, in all fairness.
handed out 100 heat-reactive T-shirts which at first glance simply display the Red Cross associated with a historical figure.
Ah.
Yet once worn, the words St George was Syrian, #defend diversity appear. I like it.
How many enraged gammons were there?
There were some red faces that day.
Fucking Syrian fucking cat!
Yeah, he had Syrian, Greek, Turkish and Palestinian heritage, and he shared with Ethiopia and Georgia among other nations.
But is it a bit like when, you know, you got a foreign striker playing for Man United, he's one of theirs?
That's
isn't
it,
he?
yeah.
Your racism goes out the window when
It
he's
does, 'cause-
got a good football player.
I'll go. I mean, do you ever seeing that West Ham fan, and he was being interviewed, and it was he gave this great example of Schrodinger's immigrant who was taking all the jobs yet had all the
Yeah.
benefits.
Right, yeah.
It's like, I bet you wouldn't be moaning if Messi came to play for West Ham, though,
No.
would you? You wouldn't have a problem with that.
No.
And he's earning like more money than you'll ever earn in a
Yeah.
week.
So it's a bit like that with St. George, isn't it? It's like, oh, he might be fucking Syria, he's fucking one of ours, isn't he, mate? He's fighting for fucking England, isn't he?
Killed that dragon.
Fucking cut his fucking head off, mate. Fucking English knife, anyway.
It's Sheffield Steel.
Sheffield fucking Steel, mate.
There's some lovely quotes from some people who are protesting though, the racist people.
You got... Go on, mate.
Oh, St George's Cross, sorry mate, that means England born and bred. Our flag is red and white, not red and brown.
Well done, that's just basic colour blindness.
Yeah.
She's just colourblind.
It's got nothing to do with like the racial makeup of the country.
No,
No,
it's just-
what colour the flag
it's
is.
just the colour the
fucking,
flag is.
that makes just literally no fucking sense.
No, it doesn't.
People from Brazil aren't fucking green and blue, you prick. Fuck me.
Yeah, well done. It's a fantastic observation on what colour the flag is.
Yeah, how very astute.
I give you a cutting to the ball round of applause.
Yeah. This guy could be one of our patron saints.
Oh, what the patron skate of thick fuckery.
Yeah, we need one.
It's not a bad idea actually. But then we haven't got the Holy Trinity anymore.
Ah, that's true. We don't fuck the Holy Trinity.
Nah.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Lizard. Well,
The loony,
any
the
more
war
to this
criminal, and the
one?
That's
reptilian
it
lizard.
really, that's about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Nice little story though.
Yeah, I
Makes
like-
the racists look silly.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a few angry, confused, gammon racists.
Do you reckon they turned on each other at any point? What's that
That'd be
say on your
brilliant.
fucking t-shirt? Hashtag defend diversity. You're one of them. It says it on yours as well. And before you know it, this is mass brawl going on.
What does yours say, Syria? What does yours say, Brown? Like fucking, dude, where's my car? Dude. Oh, fuck him.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right, what's next? Okay then, I'll go for this one. Partygoers held a daylight rave and then pooed at the end of People's Gardens.
As you do.
What a headline. Where's this from? The Manchester Evening News.
I get all the top news, guys.
Well, thank you. Only the important stories here.
Obviously,
Cutting through the
obviously.
bull in the post-truth apocalypse. Unruly partygoers urinated and defecated at the end of People's Gardens and left paths littered with broken glass and laughing gas canisters following a daylight rave yesterday.
Right, I'm not being made dumb, but what's up with the laughing gas? Is that...
It's a small canister that's supposed to be for, you know, like when you use a kitchen whisk that's powered by like gas.
Yeah.
And you use them to fill up balloons.
Right.
And then you inhale the gas from the balloon.
Oh,
And it
right.
makes you lightheaded. They call it hippie crack or posh crack.
Oh, right.
Because it's very, very like, it doesn't last long, so you want another one straight away, a bit like crack. But it's acceptable for like rich girls called peaches
Oh, right.
to do at some funky, you know.
Is it Moorish?
It is very Moorish, like all the good drugs. All the ones worth doing. So where do we go? Where are we up to? Residents of neighbouring Brailsford Road and Abergele Road in Fallowfield were stunned when hundreds of people, to be fair, you wouldn't want hundreds of people in your street, would you?
no, I
Hundreds of people descended on their quiet street to have a party under a bridge on the Fallowfield Loop. The rave began at about 1 p.m. and continued well into the night, ending at around 11:35 p.m.
That's not that bad.
Well,
A specific
you were
time,
there.
isn't it?
A full DJ system was set up at the rave, which meant nearby houses were shaking because of the noise.
Couldn't they have just called the police?
Probably did several times.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
This morning, locals headed down to the path and cleared nearly 35 bin bags full of rubbish.
35? Is that some kind of record?
Wow, much of the path is still littered with broken glass, discarded bottles, used balloons and cigarette papers.
They didn't know if they
That's
could
just not on.
Well, they didn't know if they
It's
could
not.
jump pick up the fucking rubbish then, didn't they?
People's underwear was also littered among the shrubbery.
Oh, lovely.
Well, why not?
Michael Callahan lives on Brailsford Road and his garden backs onto the Fallowfield Loop. He said, "It was louder than a helicopter. We were stood inside and it was just vibrating the house. I told my wife to stop leaning her ass against the wall." There were people pulling their pants down and urinating and defecating at the back of the house when I went out to hang my hanging basket.
They're just fertilising the crops, the bushes, the plants.
Hey Margaret, I'm just going outside to hang the hanging basket.
Someone shitting and
Got some fucking laughing gas, mate. No. I want a nice sit down in a quiet room. To be fair, I'd be fucking pissed off. If there was a time 10 years ago, I might have been like, oh, this is alright. And I'd have started asking people what they've got and tried to get as many free drugs as possible. I'm 37 now, or am I 36?
You're 36.
36, thanks. If this happened now...
Wait, how old am I?
I'd be out there with a fence post.
How old am I?
I think we're 36.
I think we're 36.
But yeah, times have changed. My rave and all that shit, it's all gone now. If this happened, I'd be horrified if this happened in my street now.
Yeah. Someone shitting your bird bath.
And to a couple of hundred people, literally with music loud enough, like a professional sound system vibrating the house, and 200 fucking, I'm guessing, it says there, literally 18 to 24-year-olds.
There's some people in their 40s, they'll have you a slot.
Yeah, there's always a couple of people in their 40s at raves. Anyway, yeah, fuck those young people.
I still don't know why the police didn't show up. It said nothing about them ringing the police yet.
Because, think about it from a policeman's point of view. This is a ball ache, you're not fucking...
There we go.
You know what I mean?
We've got a quote.
A Greater Manchester police spokesman confirmed that officers were first called to the Fallowfield Loop shortly before 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon to reports of loud music on the public footpath. The spokesman added that around 200 people were at the event at its height, adding that the crowd were, quote, good-natured and told officers they would close down by 11 p.m.
There we go.
Greater Manchester Police were joined by Manchester Council environment officers who spoke to them about noise disruption. I mean, fair play, I can see it from both sides. Young people, you know, fair play, free love, go and have a party, you're young. But if I was one of the neighbours there, I'd be horrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of respect needed. Can't go shitting in people's gardens.
This is what you need. You need, like, actual infrastructure, you need stewards, you need a clean-up crew. Somebody could have been there selling drinks.
I bet someone was selling drinks.
Yeah, but
mind you just popped down the Tesco
to be
Express,
fair,
didn't you?
Oh, anyway, fuck them.
I used to think, oh, why not? Well, I suppose, can you move on? A couple of hundred people are intent on having a rave.
Do you know my favourite thing was about...
So you go somewhere else, aren't they?
Well, yeah. Well, we used to work the festival scenes, and obviously it's a great job when you're working at a festival that's the kind of music that you like.
Yeah, of course.
But quite often I had to go and work at dance music festivals, which... a double-edged sword. They could be hellish, or if you found some drugs, they could be amazing. But my favourite thing about them was like the morning after when everyone's gone. I learned it off somebody else. Obviously, I saw somebody else doing it first, and then I would see somebody out in the field, the main arena, doing, you know, like when the policemen are searching inch by inch.
Yeah.
Like, I'd see someone like walking like that, like, and then bending down every now and then. And essentially, you just go like a magpie the morning after, and you'll find phone batteries, money, drugs,
Wow.
cigarettes,
Yeah.
lighters.
Yeah, you would, yeah.
It's just an amazing haul of, like, you find actual drugs.
Wow.
It's awesome. So there's my tip, festival goers. Try and hang around after the festival, first morning when all the punters have gone, and get searching.
No, it's better than a couple of years ago when I went to search into the campsite and just found a bucket full of shit in someone's tent. Literally a bucket in someone's abandoned tent, just full of shit.
I found a bag of pills once.
Oh, you got lucky, I just found a bucket full of shit.
Bucket of shit.
Did it discourage you?
No, I used it.
Oh, you used it.
Really needs to go.
Oh, finally I found the toilet. That's what he
I
thought.
just zipped the tent down, squatted over the bucket. Magic it was. Portaloos weren't in a great state by that point.
Nope. Well, I think that concludes the news. Excuse me.
Don't die, Gaz.
I'll try.
If he does die, we need a new host, so put your names in.
I'm irreplaceable.
Well, we'll have it.
And I'm the sound man. If I wasn't here, they'd be talking into two bean cans on a piece of string.
Why is this on the internet yet?
Hello? Mike!
I'm off deaf as it is.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's get on with the main thrust of today's topic. It's the Spanish Inquisition. So, the Spanish Inquisition was just one of several inquisitions that occurred between the 12th and the 19th century. Fuck me, that's late. In addition to the term being used for historical events, the word Inquisition refers to the tribunal court system used by both the Catholic Church and some Catholic monarchs to root out, suppress and punish heretics.
Heresy.
I love that word, heretic. It
Yeah.
sounds awesome. Heretic. I'm a heretic, I know.
Yeah, guess we
Yeah,
all are.
we all are, yeah.
What's the kind of technical definition? Just someone who
Basically-
don't believe in the Catholic
Yeah.
dogma.
Yeah, pretty much.
Opposite opinions.
Well, yeah. I'm a handsome heretic.
I'm a quasi-heretic because I'm an agnostic.
Oh, so do I have to believe a different type of religion?
Yeah.
I can't just be like, oh, they're all bollocks. That doesn't make me a heretic.
That's an atheist, isn't it? That's a heretic.
I'm definitely getting burnt at the stake. That's all I know.
Well,
When?
By the Inquisition. If I was them, yeah.
remember, you should have the same plan as me. You live as unholy, sinful life as humanly possible, and then right before you die, you just say sorry, don't you?
Yeah, deathbed
And
repentance.
And it's all
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, just get someone in to get a priest there.
Them's the rules.
Them's the rules.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. You should make it this easy, Jesus, to spend a lifetime ripping the piss out of you, and then all I have to do at the end is go, yeah, sorry, mate, of course I believe in you, of course I accept you.
It's like, just imagine like, you get brutally murdered in your home. Yeah. Your entire family does. You get to heaven. And then the murderer who did it is up there as well because he executed him, but he repented before.
Yeah.
Look,
Well,
hey,
if
I
it's
remember
heaven-
him. He bludgeoned my wife to death.
Yeah.
I won't care.
When you go
the
into your
works
house,
is
he's
heaven.
raping your ghost wife.
Yeah, but I'll just inhale a cloud that's made of MDMA, pure or heroin or opium or all three. All the drugs.
I
And
don't
I'll
think
just
there's-
inhale a cloud of it and be like, and look down at the angel giving me mad head.
I don't think
It's heaven.
I don't think they're going to have that in heaven.
It's what you want it to be, surely.
No, because
Because one man's heaven's
People-
another man's hell.
people like Cliff Richard are going to be up there.
There can't be a standard level of heaven.
Yeah, there is. It's just
No,
standard
then it's
clothes
not
and
heaven.
harps.
Not if the
That's it.
rumours are to be true.
No,
He won't be, will he? Kitty.
I'll definitely
Who,
be
Cliff?
getting...
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Oh, he's up there, isn't he?
well, he's one of the
Well,
ones
that's
who
what I
ordered
wanted.
Jill's
That's what I said.
death.
Yeah, I said if the rumours are to be true.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, obviously,
Allegedly.
I suppose Diana's not up there.
Oh, we're all going on a pedo holiday, allegedly.
You've always maintained his innocence.
Well, they didn't find anything, did they?
That's because he had it well hidden. Probably got secret rooms, Cliff.
That's because, you know,
I bet he's got. Allegedly, he's probably got a secret pedo theatre. Like
Probably.
He pulls a candlestick down on the wall and it opens, bookshelf spins round, and there you go, you're in his pedo theatre.
I like the idea of... I don't think it's going to catch on.
Tore around the
As a
scores
chain.
with that, man.
It's Cliff's pedo theatre. Allegedly.
Wow, that's the name of his touring company.
Well, he'll just say he's writing a book, it'll be fine.
Oh, man.
Where's the book, Pete?
Yeah, where's the book, Pete? Stop telling us what to do about Brexit. Anyway, back to the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah, so heretics were baptised members of the church who held opposite opinions to the Catholic faith.
There you go.
The inquisitorial system was based on an ancient Roman law. It was different from other court systems because the court actually took part in the process of trying the accused. Yeah, that's fair. The term Inquisition has a third meaning also, the trials themselves. Although early Christians experienced heavy persecution, by the Middle Ages the Catholic Church had significant religious and political power in Europe. See our Vatican episode for that.
Yeah.
We delve into that a little bit, don't we?
Mhm.
To maintain its authority, the Church suppressed heretics. The Church had a very specific definition of heresy. A heretic publicly declared his beliefs based upon what the Church considered inaccurate interpretations of the Bible and refused to denounce them, even after being corrected by the authority. He also tried to teach his beliefs to other people. He had to be doing these things by his own free will and not under the influence of the devil. So if you're a heretic, you go, the devil's possessed me, I'm alright, I'm okay now.
That's how you get out of it.
I got
You'd be a
that.
heretic, Gaz, with your cult.
Yeah.
Well, just another wonderful label to add to me.
Ordered heresy.
Oh, yeah! That's what you're talking. Lord Megatron, the metal man of heresy. That's my full official title, which you will refer to me as, or it's a hate crime.
The scourge of mankind.
yeah, because all cults are evil, so there we go, don't join his cult.
It is a hate crime. I fell down a Twitter rabbit hole the other night, and Leona kept asking me, "Are you alright?" When I should have been going to bed. A trans woman, a fully trans woman, who was a man who is now trans, tweeted, like, if you're going to be trans, the least you can do is have a shave. Like, if you can brush your teeth, you can have a shave. Fuck me. I then went down the rabbit hole of she was then getting like murdered verbally by like other trans people and people sticking up for trans people, saying that you can't say that beards are masculine because they're not.
But they are.
No, you can't say that. That's hate towards trans. Even though she's trans, even though she's a fully trans woman, she can't say beards aren't feminine because she's then transphobic. Because now everyone can just shave, Ben. Hate. So if you refuse to call me, what was it again? Lord Megatron, the metal man of heresy. If you refuse to call me that, it is transphobia because Transformers, you're transphobic. And white, cisgendered male, you're actually scum of the earth, according to the young people of Twitter.
Well, fuck them.
No.
I'm not calling you Lord Megatron.
Please.
No. No.
And let's get it right, Lord Megatron.
I'm not saying it.
The metal man of heresy.
I'm not giving you the full title. I'm not just calling you Lord Megatron. I'm refusing to go down that. You can call me a hate crimist if you want, but
you're transphobic.
You're just piggybacking off transphobia with your Transformers fantasy.
I'll tell you what though, my short-lived side project called Transcast Live, where I did live podcasts from a transit van. I stopped doing them because I found out it was actually illegal to record yourself in any way.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, whilst in motion. But
it's cutting people's cocks off in vans.
Yeah. But I haven't
filming
uploaded...
your torture sessions, is very illegal.
I haven't uploaded a single thing in months. But every day the Facebook page gets hit still, because I'm sure there's people out there going, "Oh, finally, I found a podcast just for me. Transcast Live." What the fuck is this? He's in a van talking about wrestling.
He's in a van cutting up a prostitute.
She didn't have a cock to cut off, but I tried anyway. The murder mattress.
I'm not calling you. Did you miss the murder mattress?
I got a new one.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Oh, have you taken it?
Every white van man has the murder mattress. And a selection of garden tools, which I use to bludgeon and poke and scrape and stab.
Like the Inquisition.
Oh, nice segue.
Oh, we'll get to that bit in a bit. I've looked at the... surprisingly, Mike asked me to look at the torture implements.
Oh, excellent. So I'm understanding so far, they're basically Catholic.
Yeah.
Set up this court, this system, where they're like, we're going to interview everyone.
Well, if they suspect this, if you're there on the street, sort of going, I don't know, Jesus was gay, then they'll get you in. They'll say, don't say that. Say that he wasn't gay. Sorry, I just belched.
You pig of a man.
Yeah.
That's why we love you.
Yeah. I'm like the Han Solo of this podcast. I'm like a charming
He doesn't fucking belch.
Of course he does. He's human.
Charming. Oh man.
He's human. Of course he belches.
You're going to fail at charm school. I'm just telling you that right now.
I did.
End of year exams. Oh, I love smashing fucking blasts. All the lads. So then you failed. What?
That's the only charm school that passed with flying colours.
Did you come to any of the lessons, Ben? No.
Yeah, he didn't club them over the head and rape them. That's a pass in Dorley.
Exactly.
We had sex in a house, not a bush.
Yeah.
I think I love him.
Yeah, so they get you into the inquisitorial court, where the inquisitor is running the court, and he's trying to get a confession from you. He's also the judge.
Okay.
So it's a bit, because if he thinks you're guilty, then you're guilty, aren't you? Doesn't matter what happens.
There you go.
And they say, all right, well, stop saying Jesus was gay, and you go, no. And they go, okay then, we'll put you to various methods, which we'll get to soon.
Excellent.
So the Inquisition officially began with Pope Gregory IX in 1231. He issued a bull, which is a papal bull, or decree, that set up a tribunal court system to try heretics and punish them.
Why is it called a bull?
I don't know, it's just called a papal bull. It's like...
Isn't the bull the Baphomet?
Oh!
Just saying.
Well, that'd be a goat, technically, but I know where you're coming from. Molech. Because the interpretation of Molech at... what's that place called? Where's the owl? Well, no one knows what it was.
Bohemian.
Thought to be a bull, wasn't it?
Bohemian Grove,
Yes,
yes.
it's Bohemian Grove.
Molech.
He chose a Dominican order, known for being very well educated and knowledgeable about complex theology, to conduct the Inquisition. The Dominicans were nicknamed the Hounds of God because Domi Canis is Latin for Hound of God.
That would be a good name for a tag team. The Hounds of God.
Yeah. I thought it was because they were werewolves.
No, which is also that film we were going to write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we cover this?
We
No,
did.
that's just a little Latin pun I know about the Dominican order of
Oh, a
priests.
Latin pun. One was just dispensing the Latin pun.
See how I've gone from belching to making jokes about Latin?
Oh, you're a fucking Renaissance man.
I am. You're right.
Stop trying to pull on the podcast.
I don't know what to say. I'm hurt.
Send me nudes.
No.
Yes.
I'm a gentleman and a scholar.
Neither of those things.
Just rip on me, Dave.
Sometimes it's my turn in the barrel. Right now, you're in the barrel a little bit.
I'm a gentleman and a scholar, and a man of wealth and taste.
I guess.
There you go. See how it's much better to agree with me.
Yeah, for your own sake. Yeah. Yes, Ben, you're a Renaissance man.
I am.
Now back to the death of the non-Catholics.
Right, so the Spanish Inquisition was unique in that it was established by secular rulers. King Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella, with the approval of Pope Sixtus IV, the monarchy was Catholic, and it had just united two kingdoms, Aragon and Castile, both in Spain obviously, as a single country in the late 15th century. Reasons for the Inquisition included a desire to create religious unity and weaken local political authorities and alliances. Money was another motive. The government made a profit by confiscating the property of those found guilty of heresy.
Yep, that still happens today, especially in the US.
Is it?
Yep. If you're convicted of a crime, they won't just go after the money, they'll go after everything you've got. The state will take it, auction it off.
Well, that's rude. Mind you, get some bargains in them police auctions. You can't have given into one.
Yeah, you can't buy back your soul or your morals.
Well, no, because the police haven't taken them. Still got them. Some of them.
Oh yeah, let's buy this guy's bed.
Genuinely.
Still got the bullet holes in it.
It's cars and all sorts, they go dirt cheap.
It's the brains on the
storage
windscreen.
wars.
Yeah. I've always fancied getting into that, storage wars.
It's
Buying storage lockers. I've always fancied having a go at that.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as lucrative as you know what I mean. I think you got to buy a lot of them to find a good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's a tangent.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. Many prominent citizens were concerned about their country's religious diversity and had bigoted attitudes towards non-Catholics. Jews are subjected to violent attacks known as pogroms and isolated in ghettos. Many were killed. The Inquisition was officially established in 1478, and Jews were banished a few years later when King Ferdinand II issued the Alhambra decree in 1492, ordering them to leave on pain of death.
They've not had it good, have they, the Jews?
No, they always
throughout
seem to
history.
get the scapegoat role, don't they?
Wow.
I can understand it in the Middle Ages to a point, or the theory behind it, because obviously the idea is a lot of Catholics would have said, well, the Jews killed Christ, so therefore they're not people to be trusted. In that way of thinking, I kind of understand it, but at the same time, you can't blame the blames for something like that on everybody, can you? They weren't there.
There you go, we can't.
So, many Jews converted to Catholicism. These converts were sometimes called marranos, which is Spanish for pig, and a very derogatory term.
Wow.
Many accused secretly continued to practice Judaism, and they became targets of the Inquisition. So, get baptised, still carry on anyway. Just do it at home and no one's watching.
Yeah. The hate crimes still continue.
So what their ultimate goal is basically convert everyone and take the wealth of the people that won't convert.
Yeah.
Or just take everyone's wealth and don't convert anyone. Either way they win, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because if you convert to be a good Catholic, you're still going to end up contributing financially to them.
Of course, yeah, it's a win-win.
Some regard.
Yep.
Motherfuckers. Why do they care so much about money if, it's all about living a good life so you go to the afterlife?
Well, there you
Well,
go.
Jesus didn't like the rich, did he?
No.
Didn't he say something like it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter heaven?
Yep.
Yes, he did. And he also said, I wouldn't piss on one if they're made of porcelain. I think.
When he went into the temple, overturned all the bankers' tables.
Yeah.
Wasn't a fan of the rich.
No, he
the
wasn't,
Catholic
was he?
Church, and many of the churches across the...
It's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, strange that they all kind of need that much
All
money.
the churches have all this fucking gold everywhere and
And
expensive artwork and...
snakehead throne rooms.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's almost as if they need a lot of money to buy, children on the black market.
Do we need to say allegedly for that?
Allegedly.
Yeah, probably better add. They've got lawyers.
Legally speaking, yeah, but we all know it's true. Yeah, allegedly true.
Probably.
Probably allegedly true.
After the Jews, who's usually next on the hit list?
Muslims!
Yeah, so they suffered opposition and persecution similar to that of the Jews until they were banished in 1502. In the name of religious and cultural unity, Muslim converts to Catholicism.
Unity! But you can fuck off.
In the name of unity, fuck off. So us lot that stay behind can be together.
And have your stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unity. For the greater good.
Muslim converts to Catholicism were called moriscos, which is Spanish for Moorish, like crack.
Ah.
And they were targeted for the same reason as Jewish converts. Late 16th century, Protestants, mainly Lutherans, became the target of the Inquisition. See, they don't like the Protestants because they don't acknowledge the Pope.
Yeah, they split, didn't they? From...
Yeah.
You will acknowledge our king.
Pretty much.
No, we won't.
No,
Well, they'll fucking die.
we'll get the rack out.
Yeah. It's a bit like comic books, this.
It is. Do as I say or die.
Yeah. Join us or die. No. Well then, die.
Wasn't pissing about.
Well, you were joking. I fucking wasn't. No.
Yeah, pretty much. Spanish Inquisition spread to Spanish-controlled colonies in the New World, including Mexico. The Inquisition was abolished in Spain in 1834 by Queen Isabel II. 1834, still pretty late though.
Yeah.
1934. It's not long before. In 50 years' time, you've got cowboys.
Yeah.
You got Cowboys then.
Probably had, actually.
1834.
Alright, history, man.
I think.
No, probably not. The westward expansion didn't really kick off until after the Civil
1860,
War.
wasn't it?
Civil War was 1860 something to 1864.
Ah, yes.
So you get it to the 1870s, 1880s would be the
I
westward
know that
expansion.
the 1880s was the Wild West. I know that.
Yeah, the Donner Party and all that, and people going out there. That'd be an episode.
You saw
one day.
Cowboys in the Midwest, didn't you?
Well, I guess so, but
1834, imagine. Up to
you know that wicked Wild Wild West. That wasn't
Oklahoma
the 1880s.
and all
On
that.
a steel horse they rode.
Yeah. Fuck you, Bon Jovi.
What is a Bon Jovi?
What is a Bon Jovi? I don't know. Some prick who thinks he's a cowboy even though he's from Jersey.
Cheesy. Look at my mullet. It's fucking sweet. Oh, fucking Bon Jovi. That's my New Jersey.
It's not bad, to be fair.
And he sings high as fuck.
He's a prick.
Yeah, of course he is.
So, as mentioned earlier, the Inquisitions were tribunals, a type of trial where the judge or judges tries the accused and passes judgment. But these trials were unique in several ways. The accused was required to testify and he didn't get a lawyer or any assistance. If he refused to testify, the Inquisitor took this refusal as proof of his guilt.
Oh. It's a bit like if you fucking don't float, you're not a witch.
Yeah. But you're also dead.
But she wasn't a witch.
That's
But
amazing.
she was my wife.
But she's getting
Chuck him in.
she's getting a good Christian burial now. We'll see you in heaven. There's your
Oh man.
there's your consoling.
Yeah. And give us your fucking money.
Give us all her stuff. Anyone can testify against you, including relatives,
Oh shit.
criminals, and other heretics. And you
Fuck
were.
yeah, you wouldn't be happy about that, would you? But he's a bigger cunt than me.
Yeah.
Oh, he turned up for 3 meetings. He's been there since the start. He brought me in. You aren't told who your accusers are.
Okay.
The accused usually didn't have any witnesses testify on his behalf because they could also fall under suspicion of being a heretic.
Here, Kevin, tell them I'm not a heretic.
Heretic!
Who are you?
Yeah, fuck that. Don't call me a heretic as well. You're on your own, mate.
We call to the stand Kevin the heretic.
Kev, I've known you since we were 6.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Sucks for you.
The Inquisitors actually did look pretty badass. They had like, red robes and big hats.
They sound pretty badass. The Inquisitors. There you go. WrestleMania next year. What were they called? The Who's of God? The Hounds of God versus the Inquisitors.
I'll be like the battle for religious superiority.
Yeah, man.
You have the Pope as a guest referee.
We should get a sweet belt that represented
You'd have a big
religious
belt with a big
authority.
cross. wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Big golden cross in the middle. The Pope would be ringside with you, be your manager.
Special
he'd
guest
do all
referee.
He'd do all the height stuff, wouldn't he,
Yeah.
the Pope?
The Hounds of God are going to turn you sideways.
And then
He'll be swinging that thing that dispenses all the...
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
as
the
they walk
incense.
to
Well,
the
you've got
ring.
the monks doing that, and yours who walk to
Yeah.
the ring.
And he was, when the ref weren't looking, he'd conk someone
Yeah, yeah.
and that's how they'd win.
Oh,
They'd cheat to win.
but then they
With the
turn,
power of God on our side.
but then they turn face.
Yeah.
Some Muslims wrestlers come in, right? And like, say for example, before the match, one of the things they do is the Pope, because he's their manager, will bless them. Before
Yeah.
he's got them knelt in the ring, and they'll attack them from behind.
Yeah.
And like the Pope will fall at the ring, and he'll have a bit of a health scare.
Well-
and that'll be an extra incentive for them to win.
Well, you know, in Mexican wrestling, like the worst thing that can happen is you beat your opponent and you unmask him.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in this like religious wrestling, you beat the Muslims, then convert them in the
Oh,
centre of the
yeah.
ring, and it's the ultimate shame. They can never wrestle again.
Oh no, you'd have a conversion match. Right, the losers.
You have to get your religion. You have to ladder match.
That's it. You have to get your Bible or your Quran.
Quran on a pole match.
Losers have to convert.
Shit. Oh shit.
I think we've opened up a niche.
Oh shit. Right. Let's move on from the religious wrestling festival. Copyright Us Federation, I mean. Copyright Us.
Right, so the Inquisitorial Court travelled the country conducting tribunals. This court consisted of 2 inquisitors as well as secretaries and other members. Heresy could be definitely proven if the accused was caught in a heretical act,
Ooh.
but the goal of the inquisitor was always to extract a confession or admission of guilt. But we'll get what extracting a confession requires.
Are we
very
ever
soon.
ways of making you darker? That was a bit more Italian.
Yeah,
but, you know.
they'd have probably had an inquisition.
Italian, Spanish, it's all the same, isn't it?
So-
We have gone very racist all of a sudden.
No,
but
you two have gone very
wait,
racist.
we are not the Bernard Manning of podcasts for nothing.
I'm
Only a joke.
apologising on
Just
behalf.
jokes, isn't
Just
it?
jokes.
Just jokes.
I'm apologising on
Don't mean
behalf
any.
of my
No,
co-hosts.
we don't mean any offence.
Mike does.
He's the only actual peaceful man on the podcast.
He's also the only one of the 3 of us who's watched that Nazi propaganda film, which I don't think it's influenced him.
It was research.
Where's the book, Mike?
Me and Pete Townsend are writing it together.
It'll never get published.
You're trying to write a book with him. Have you been using my laptop, Pete? No!
Shit.
And if he smashes it up like he did his guitars, like, he finishes his essay and then just blasts it against the wall. What the fuck are you doing? Oh Well, that's how we end the show, dear chap.
If Pete Townsend used your laptop, would you just take it into the garden and destroy it with fire?
I'd nuke it. Fucking throw it into the sun. Chuck it in the canal. Fuck that.
I'd kill it with fire.
I'd just suddenly start writing a book. Really quickly. I'd have it printed by the time the police came. Fucking research. Look. 300 pages.
All you've done is just print out the kiddie pool.
This isn't helping your case, son. It's Pete's fault.
Look, it's a story. It's like once upon a time and then put the end.
It was all Pete Townsend, I swear. He just used a laptop. Well, no, because he'd have wrote a book by now.
Out here in the fields. Ah, dear. Some kids Pete did feel. It was only research. Yeah. Only research.
But now I have to wonder what a teenage wasteland is.
Well, we know. Oh, God. It's where he leaves the bodies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, you know. Ugh. He gets a lot of mentions on this show, doesn't he, Pete Townsend?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it up. Where's the book, Pete? That needs to be a t-shirt. Where's the book, Pete?
Wearing it at Who concerts.
I'd have a sign for that, I think. Like a folded up flag with "Where's the book, Pete?" Just have 3 or 4 people hold it and not tell them what it says.
I bet it takes less than 2 songs for security to start. You see Pete just having a word at the side of the stage.
But you're not holding the flag, so it's okay.
Yeah.
You just shuffle back into the crowd.
Yeah, you hire some orphan kids to hold it.
Of course.
Some victims of Pete.
Alleged victims.
The VOP. Sorry.
VOP sounds like a rap band, though, that's the problem.
If you don't know what we're on about, listening for the last 10 minutes and you haven't switched off, we love you. Just research Pete Townsend.
No, don't just Pete Townsend.
Yeah, I guess it'll come up somewhere.
Yeah.
Where's the book, Pete?
Wikipedia, Pete Townsend, I'd imagine. Yeah. So Inquisitors needed to extract a confession because they believed it was their duty to bring the accused back to the faith. A true confession resulted in the accused being forgiven, but he was usually still forced to absolve himself by performing penances, such as pilgrimage or wearing multiple heavy crosses. If the accused didn't confess, the Inquisitors could sentence him to a life of imprisonment or burning at the stake.
It's a bit of a, could be locked up for the rest of your life or we'll set you on fire.
Right, so shall we look at some of the torture methods now?
Yeah.
And can we call a piss break?
Of course.
Fantastic.
I should probably have one as well.
So let's take a look at some of the methods that they would use to get your confession. The Judas cradle.
Okay.
It would literally rip you a new arsehole.
Wow.
Now, we'll paint an audio picture. So it's basically like a bar stool, the legs of a bar stool, with a massive kind of wooden pyramid on the top of it.
Yeah.
That's where you sit. So the Judas cradle was a profoundly gruesome device. A naked victim was forced to sit on top of a sharp pointed pyramid seat. The pointy end would go into the anus or vagina of the victim, and it gets worse. The Inquisitors would then pull ropes, attach the victim's limbs to slowly force the point deeper into the person's orifice. If this was kept up for several hours, the victim would end up impaled by the device.
That's horrific.
I'd be singing like a fucking bird.
Yep. As soon as I seen it, realise what they're going to do, we'll be like, yeah,
Alright.
tell you everything.
Heretic. Yeah, that's me.
That's me, you got me.
Interesting, they'd use waterboarding.
Ah, just like the US government.
Yeah.
I believe still do it, do they?
I think so.
Enhanced
Interrogation.
techniques. That's how they get around it, innit?
Yeah. Very true. So what they say about waterboarding? Spanish inquisitors called waterboarding tormente de toca. The toca referred to the piece of cloth that covered the victim's face. Victims obviously tied down on an inclined board, and water would be poured over the cloth. This would make the suspected heretic feel as though they were drowning. The patient strangled and gasped and would suffocate, and at intervals the toca was withdrawn, and he was adjured to tell the truth. The severity of the infliction was measured by the number of jars of water consumed, sometimes reaching up to 6 to 8. For the Spanish, waterboarding was basically dubbed, "Oh, not so bad."
Yeah.
They had other, much more twisted ways of making you talk.
Prefer that than the first one.
Yeah, the first one's, I think, is probably the one I'd least want. The Judas Cradle. Then you got the Spanish donkey.
Wow.
Not a fun ride.
That's a bit like when you had to do gymnastics at junior school, the horse that you jump up onto, I think you called it, didn't you?
That's right.
Only this one has spikes sticking out of it, so when you do your little gymnastics move and you land on it, you're going to get metal in your nuts.
And it's also triangular, so you sit astride it, your legs are parted over it. This gut-ripping donkey was the worst ride in town. Deceptively innocent in appearance, the device was used throughout the Inquisition as a means of torture. Victims would be forced to sit on a wooden wedge, sometimes covered in spikes, with their feet left dangling on either side of the saddle. Sometimes weights would be added to the person's feet. This device could potentially cut a person down the middle.
Ooh.
Yep, human salami.
Yeah. Oof. And then we've got the strapado. Basically, they tie your hands behind your back, and then they throw that rope over a hoist attached to the ceiling, and they pull you up like that.
Wow.
Sounds lovely. I mean, these guys were fucking pretty, like in I don't know which Tarantino movie it is, where he's like, I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were, because just beating someone up is pretty bad. Beating them, using beating and kicking as a method of torture, that's pretty bad. Beating someone to death slowly. Yeah. Most people will start to speak, I imagine.
Of course they will.
Then adding all this, really ingenious ingenuity, dark, sick, twisted ingenuity, all these contraptions. It's like, how far did you have to go? It's like,
this is it. I mean,
it's just someone's having a laugh here. Someone really enjoys designing these fucking things.
Of course they do. There's some sickos in the world, isn't there?
Yeah,
they normally get to the top of powerful institutions.
And most of them usually work for the church. That's the cat, by the way. That's Chester. He lives here.
Show putty tap.
Show mascot. So what's next then? The water cure would make you violently ill.
Oh.
Guess it's not a cure then.
No. So everyone says drinking lots of water is good for you. Well, remember, there can always be too much of a good thing. Drinking copious amounts of water in a short period of time can lead to a condition known as hypotrythemia, or water intoxication. It causes a drastic drop in sodium levels in the blood, causing your cells to swell and leading to inflammation of the brain.
Wow.
Water cures.
Remember when people go to raves?
Yeah.
You're supposed to drink water whilst on ecstasy, but you drink too much and you die, not because of the fucking drugs, but because of
too
the
much water.
The water in you.
Yeah.
Quite a few young people have quite sadly gone that way, haven't they?
They have.
I remember the ecstasy scare in the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was the number one fucking drug then, wasn't it? Victims of the water cure, which is kind of invented during the Spanish Inquisition, surprisingly, would be strapped down and have water funneled into their mouths, up to 30 pints in one sitting.
Oh,
no, I can't be doing that. 30 pints of water. If it was beer, Ben and Coke.
it's amazing how...
He's drank 30 pints of beer, he's not cracked yet.
It's mad though, isn't it? We can go out on the piss and drink literally double figures pints, and a pint is a large amount of liquid. Let's say we have 12 pints of lager. If you were at home and you had 12 pints of Coke, someone would be like, mate, we need to have a chat. That's really bad for you. That's a lot of sugar. You got problems. 12 pints of orange juice. You know what I mean? But no, it's perfectly acceptable to go out and be like, yes! I love drinking.
Yeah, me too. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
You
we
die of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, okay, I'll be pissed.
Well, we gotta die of something.
Yeah.
Might as well have some fun.
Well, speaking of dying, let's get back to this horrific torture.
We've got the head crusher.
Wow.
Self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory. And it's like a metal cup that sits over your head, which is attached to a frame, which has got like a
vice.
So your chin goes on one metal bar, the head cap goes on the other. They screw it down and they squash your head.
We've all seen Casino. The scene.
Scene in the vice, of course.
Pops his eye out. I
Yeah.
popped your
Well,
fucking eye out your head, you cunt.
Funny enough, that's what happens here. Yeah, the victim's eyeballs would pop out of the skull. Luckily, that's often fatal. No one's
Yeah.
have to live like that.
It's nasty.
The knee splitter,
Wow.
wooden frame,
Oh, that looks horrific.
spikes on the inside of it.
Oh,
They ties it up, squashes your knees, impales your knees. It probably wouldn't kill you, but you're crippled for life.
And you're going to bleed to death.
yeah.
Maybe die
Major
of
arteries
shock.
in your legs.
Maybe die of shock.
Yeah.
Your legs get ripped in two. Wow.
They would use it on other parts of the body, but the legs are the preferred.
And remember, you, the one getting your leg put in this horrific crushing machine, you're the fucked up one.
Yeah, you're the messed up one.
Not me, cranking this handle as you scream a blood-curdling death rattle of a man having his legs impaled. You're the fucked up one, mate.
Yeah. Just,
I'm alright, me.
I'm going to get
God loves me. Have you got a tissue? I think some of your blood's in me eye.
I just take his tissue as well. He's not insult to injury.
Yeah.
What we got next then? The Spanish tickler.
Ooh. I've had that.
Well, if you've had this one, you shouldn't have any skin left. It's basically like, imagine a decorating pole, you get
Yeah.
a roller brush on the end. That's
Yeah.
like this, but instead of that nice fluffy paintbrush bit,
Yeah.
this is like a wooden roll with spikes attached.
And I guess they'd just run that up and down your body,
Yeah.
lie you on the floor.
Ramsay Bolton would love that, wouldn't he?
He
though?
fucking would love that. Yeah. So it may sound like a cheeky sex toy, but the Spanish tickler provided nothing but pain for its victims. The device was also called a cat's paw due to its shape and the fact that it ended in 4 or 5 curved metal claws. Sometimes a tickler will be the end of a long pole to better reach the body of a victim suspended in the air or tied to a vertical rack. You know, just for extra fun. The claws would tear through victims' flesh and could even break bones. The inquisitors would then begin tickling on the limbs, eventually moving to the torso to increase the pain level.
Wow. Oh, sorry guys.
It's definitely a big...
That wasn't my phone playing our own podcast and causing some time temporal displacement.
You just fucked the timeline now.
You imagined it. Please continue. I'll give you a joke.
burning at the
How does
stake?
that sound?
Yeah, alright.
There you go.
The rack. Oh, burning at the stake. Do burning at the stake.
Okay.
Well, it's 2 for 1. It's both torture and executions for victims of the Spanish Inquisition, and they loved burning people to death at the stake. In Seville in 1483, 700 converted Jews were burned at the stake.
That can't be a coincidence, can it? Seville. Is it the name of the devil? Is it the mark of the beast?
Oh. Interesting.
Food for thought.
Maybe he's an immortal paedophile.
Oh God, no one wants that.
Oh, fuck.
The ultimate bag. Darth Vader's got fuck all on it. Right.
So hang on, let's do a few more burning at the stake numbers. Between 1486 and 1492 in Toledo, 467 people were burnt at the stake after their public confessions, and nearly 100 years later in 1560, an English merchant working in the south of Spain in Cadiz named Nicholas Burton was burnt at the stake as well. It's yeah, I don't fancy that one.
No.
I don't fancy any of it, but I don't want to be burnt at the stake. Fire and water,
I don't know
please, I
why.
don't want to die.
I don't know why, but I was thinking about being burnt alive the other day.
That's just kind of thought you have, eh?
Just, being a stoner and being on your own all day in the van. I was thinking about, would you
Not
breathe
gonna-
in the
I think
fire?
it's 'cause
Do you
you're not-
asphyxiate? Or like, I mean, what's going through your mind? You must be breathing in fire too, remember that? You're burning from the outside, but then you're breathing it in, burning from the inside. I mean, you'd like to think you might pass out.
I think the smoke
Have a really
asphyxiation
bad
might
dream.
get to you.
Yeah, the smoke of your own flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's because you're not killing them prostitutes anymore. That's why you get thoughts like this. Oh, I remember when I used to burn people alive.
Well, Gets lonely out there.
It's lonely on the road, isn't it? The rack. Everyone knows the rack.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has a lovely one, thank you.
Hey!
Hey.
The victim was tied down to a plank of wood while a crank was turned, pulling all 4 limbs away from the body. In one extreme case, a young man was being tortured on the rack and a fire was lit underneath him to add to his suffering. His limbs were pulled so hard they were ripped from his body and the deluge of blood put out the fire. It's pretty metal.
Pretty metal.
Sucks for him. Like, really badly.
Yeah, so those are the top 10 torture methods of the Spanish Inquisition. That's how they got you to confess, and if you think you can take any of that...
No. Waterboarding is probably the best, and that...
Yeah, actually it is, isn't it?
Best
I'd
case
go with
scenario.
that. I would go with that. I definitely don't want the
Think up the arse.
the Judas cradle.
No.
I think that's my number 1 don't want on this list.
Has to be.
Don't fancy that Spanish donkey either, to be fair, with the spikes on. It's going to rip me in half after impaling my nuts.
None of it's good. Even the knee crusher, none of it's... You're not coming out of any of it.
No, well, you're not coming out of it. If they get their hands on you, you ain't coming out of it anyway, are
No,
you?
you're fucked.
You might as well just fucking confess in the first 30 seconds.
Save the trouble.
And save yourself the trouble and just get burnt at the stake anyway, because they might let you off if you confess quick enough. They might give you something less.
Might just banish you.
Might just banish you. There's no way on earth I'd be hanging around for a few days fucking denying it after,
Fuck that. I mean, if you're seeing people and hearing the stories of what's actually happening to people, I'll just say, I'll sing like a canary, whatever you want to hear.
Yeah.
Mr. Catholic.
Then you put out the Inquisitors, who are probably quite fucking sadistic bastards. You've got to be a sadist to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to enjoy it somehow. You can say it's your godly appointed job, but at the end of the day, you've got to fucking enjoy doing
There's
it.
no way you could do it if you don't. No way.
You got to get some job satisfaction out of it, haven't you?
Of course you have.
It's important to us all.
A happy worker's a good worker.
So, in some cases, accused heretics who had died before their final sentencing, possibly from over-torture, had their corpses or bones dug up and burnt and then cast out.
Not even safe in death.
In 1998, Pope John Paul II addressed the International Symposium on the Inquisition. In his address, he stated that, and I quote, "The Inquisition begins to a tormented phase in the history of the Church, which Christians should examine in a spirit of sincerity and open-mindedness." End quote.
Tormented phase.
Wow.
Yeah, we had this bit of a wobble
Soz.
for 300 years. Sorry about that, but you look at it with an open mind.
Yeah. I'm not up for this.
You know, is that
I
kind
would
of
have been
thing?
fucked.
It's not even like an apology, is it?
No, and I'd have been fucked. Let's be perfectly honest.
I suppose the thing is, you gotta look at the times. We wouldn't be atheists and agnostics and quasi-satanists in this period of time, would we?
We'd be Protestants, so we'd be in the...
Well, we'd be Protestants, but the Inquisition were allowed in England.
English had their own Inquisition.
No, when the changeover happened.
Yeah, the Spanish wouldn't. But, well, I'll get into it in a minute. I've got the conspiracy about the Spanish Inquisition.
Which is...
Ooh.
I'll
Well,
get into
he won't
it.
tell me.
Okay.
And he told me not to look as well.
Good stuff,
But we
'cause I
need a
know
break.
nothing about it.
Fair enough. So Mike's going to tell us, he's going to reveal the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay, hit me with it.
The myth of the Spanish Inquisition and the start of modern propaganda.
Ah.
The Inquisition existed and so did its persecution, but the stories of brutality are mostly myths. It is true that the Inquisition could employ torture. However, it should be noted that torture and religious persecution were common at the time in Europe.
Makes sense.
There were other Inquisitions, and Spain's methods and death count were unremarkable compared to the witch burning and persecution in the rest of Europe.
We've got to do the witch trials at some point.
Yeah.
Matthew Hopkins, was it? The Witchfinder General? That's a
Yeah.
pretty metal name, though, isn't it?
Witchfinder General. Wow.
So I'll go with that.
The Jews living in Spain, one of the most persecuted groups, were usually given a chance to convert and typically were exiled rather than tortured.
It's nice of them.
Printed propaganda immediately fueled the ongoing debate between Protestants and Catholics. The Spanish Inquisition happened, but what but most of what we think we know about it is a myth according to more recent studies. One of the main things that happened in the era was a multi-state war between Catholicism and Protestantism. The myth of the Spanish Inquisition was spread over this propaganda war. The BBC documentary The Black Myth of the Spanish Inquisition, produced in 1994, outlines the history and facts of the Spanish Inquisition, basing its information on a systematic study of the private official records of the Inquisition.
Oh.
So they went back and looked at the...
You thought someone would have done that before?
Well, I don't think the church gave them permission.
Nah, probably not. You won't know what a bitch it is to get to those Vatican archives.
Although the archives are massive and exhaustive, even the beginning phases of research showed a very different image than that of a cruel and sadistic Catholic tribunal. Instead, what we get is an image of one of the fairest and most level-headed tribunals of Europe.
What?
Yeah, it's madness, innit? I didn't know nothing about this until I researched it.
So, what you're saying is all that stuff we've just spent the last sort of hour or so talking about is utter bollocks?
No, it happened, but it ain't as bad as it's made out.
Ah, okay.
Well, to be fair, you only need to put someone on one of them machines once.
Yeah.
The big spike that goes up the arse until
It ain't
you're
good.
impaled.
Well-
You've only got to do that once or twice to spread the word, haven't you? And people are going to be like, fuck that.
Let's stop being heretics.
Yeah. I don't want to spike you up the arse
That's definitely number one for me, that Judas
until
Cradle.
it rips me in two.
Definitely number one. The Spanish donkey's number two.
Yeah. The archives that were meticulously kept by the Inquisition were intended only for the Inquisition's use. Thus, it cannot be said that they were coloured to present a favourable image for the public eye. The data derived from these archives show us a tribunal that was fair, level-headed, restrained, reluctant to resort to execution, and even more reluctant to resort to torture. Many forms of torture, such as the wheel, were never used by the Inquisition at all. Inquisitors came from the ranks of university lawyers and based their inquiries on law. According to the BBC study, one district of the Inquisition would not even consider cases where women were accused of witchcraft. Such accusations were so lacking in solid evidence that the Inquisition declared the inquiries to be the result of superstition.
Which they then tortured the peasants for having superstitions that weren't quite Christian.
Yeah, funny that.
Yeah. Probably, anyway.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe, we don't know, I suppose. Inquisition courts and prisons were the envy of the land.
Wow.
And criminals would actually blaspheme in secular courts and hope that they would be brought before the Holy Inquisition instead. The sentences of the Spanish Inquisition were much more lenient than those of the courts of France, England, the Holy Roman Empire and other European countries.
Well, you could just go into the inquisitorial court and they go, right, you're here for blaspheming and whatever, and you go, all right, I repent.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, all right, you cheeky scamp. 5 years.
But everyone seems to believe that they're
the worst.
They set you on fire and stuck a spike up your
Yeah,
ass.
they didn't really burn witches,
Well,
ironically.
one part of the
Yeah,
land.
some places didn't.
Yeah?
Their weight was even less in the countryside, where the territories were vast and the peasants uncooperative.
Well, yeah, because, you know, let's say an inquisitor in his court, which is like, what, 2 of them and like another 5 guys, rocks up and says, we hear there's heretics here, and the entire village comes out and says, no, there isn't, fuck off.
They just stonewalled them. They wouldn't talk to them.
Yeah?
Like getting blood out of a stone, innit?
Snitches get stitches. Now fuck off. Sling your hook.
Were
That's...
they in France, were they?
yeah, it's got a bit of lower low than us.
Oh, it was Spain, wasn't it? I know talk in Spain.
Like Captain Burrito.
Sling your hook. Snitches get stitches.
That would be one of the things on the Captain Burrito talking toy. Stitches get stitches. You pull the ring at the back and it's...
Bless him. Little racist caricature.
The Bernard Manning of podcasts.
Freedom of speech, Ben.
Can we use that?
I'm not dying on that hill.
No, alright, go on, Mike. What we got?
But how did the black myth of an unjust and cruel Spanish Inquisition spread? Where did it originate and how? The historical information
Was it from the Sun newspaper?
I go with the Daily Mail
Daily
or Telegraph.
That's better.
Ye oldie Daily Mail.
Hear ye, the Muslims are coming. The Muslims are coming.
And everything gives you cancer, remember, in the Daily Mail.
Turnips give thee cancer.
Oh, it's true though. Everything's bad for you, and the Muslims are coming to take your stuff. That's the Daily Mail, effectively, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do people read that bollocks?
Might as well just say run to the hills every day.
Build yourself a bunker and spend the rest of your life cowering in it.
And buy this.
And buy this.
Yeah.
Have this delivered to the bunker door. Put some kind of airlock in there so it's the Daily Mail delivered.
Like an elaborate tube airlift system.
Yeah. And a sanitisation chamber, because obviously you could have anything on it, you don't know.
Anthrax.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I might start selling that.
Copyright us.
Copyright us. 2 in 1 episode. Religious wrestling. The Daily Mail delivery kit for your survival bunker.
I know which one's more likely to catch on.
Imagine if we take that if we take religious wrestling to the deep south of America.
It'd be like the old days of wrestling when they thought it was real and they had riots.
Might have to get,
wood.
we'd have to
Like
get,
wrestlers would get literally stabbed on the way back to the dressing room.
with the Muslim wrestlers, we're probably going to have some really good security in all fairness. I guarantee there won't be many wanting to sign up for us.
Oh no. But hey,
Get some of the lads from down Regent Street, I suppose.
it's worth a try. Moving on.
Okay, how did the myth spread? The historical information presented in this documentary points straight to the Protestants. Defeated on the battlefield by the Catholic armies of the Habsburg Empire, the Protestants resorted to the printing press to spread the calumnies against the Church, focusing on Spain as the superpower of the day in much the same way that the United States is viewed as the epitome of Western evil by many Muslims today.
Interesting, actually, yeah. What do they call the United States in Iran? The Great Satan or something like that?
They haven't got a good record though, have they?
No, in all fairness.
Great Satan.
I suppose you usually think it's propaganda, isn't it? No, it's all propaganda.
Yeah. Oh, he's great Satan.
Well, this was one of
He's
the
alright,
first.
he's a friend of the show. Friend of the show.
Sorry, Mike, you say.
Yeah, this was one of the first propaganda campaigns.
Well,
Printing just came out, didn't it? We had
Yeah.
Lutheranarianism.
Yeah.
it was an effective one because we all still think it today, don't we?
Yep.
Says me who knew nothing about it, but you know,
Me neither.
people joke about it, don't they? You know.
Yeah. There's a famous Monty Python sketch that we...
There you go. And we all know if you can't trust Monty Python or historical accuracy, well, who can you trust?
This is it.
They're a national institution.
Fetch the cushions.
Well,
Fetch the cup of tea.
so what's the verdict? Have we got any more evidence or any more info?
Yeah, a little bit more. The Holy Spanish Inquisition became the target of the Protestant pen. In 1567, a fierce propaganda campaign began with the publication of a Protestant leaflet penned by a supposed Inquisition victim named Montanus. This character was a Protestant, of course, who painted Spaniards as barbarians who ravished women and sodomized young boys. The propagandists soon created hooded fiends who tortured their victims in horrible devices like the knife-filled Iron Maiden, which was never used in Spain.
Iron Maiden, though.
Iron Maiden! Excellent! One of the best bits of Bill and Ted.
I don't know. All of it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all awesome, but, you know, he threatens to send them into the Iron Maiden, and they're like, yeah! Iron Maiden! Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
Soon to make a comeback.
Can't wait.
Me either. It'd be great. So, yeah. Sorry, I derailed us.
Okay, the Catholic countries loathed to resort to such low combat as calumny and printed lies, did not respond adequately to what historians are now discovering to be the forgeries and falsified evidence left by resentful Protestants. Fabrications about the supposed torture and cruelties of the Inquisition spread like wildfire among those ready to pounce at the slightest pretense to defame Spain or Holy Mother Church.
I think we can put it, so we can narrow it down to when everything started getting a bit tits up, really, can't you? You can put it down to the day the printing press was invented. As soon as you got the printing press, you've got fake news.
Yeah.
You've got propaganda.
Yeah.
It all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
And now social media has taken over as that printing press.
Yeah, whereas TV did before.
Yeah?
I don't know, I bet people, Chinese whispers, do you know what I mean, spread quite a bit of bullshit before they're written.
My favourite Chinese whispers are them ones you get on Facebook where it's like, someone randomly, like, this is a warning from the police, even though it isn't, it's just some random person.
Yeah.
About how someone's literally going to jump in the back of your car by distracting you and then brutally murder you and take your car.
Yeah.
And it's happened to... Yeah, it does. But but it's a new trend.
Yeah.
It's a new craze. You know, it's written by afraid old people who listen to everything they hear, believe everything they hear on the internet.
Definitely. I remember it happening in real time at school. My friend Perry, he was running away from something, as you do when you're like 15, jumped over a fence and there was an Alsatian dog. And instead of like killing him, it sort of like grabbed hold of his arm and like humped him a bit while his mates laughed.
I bet they did.
But the story soon went in the space of a couple of weeks from Perry was humped a little bit by a dog to like, oh, Perry got like face raped by a dog and like it come in his face and like Perry sucked off a dog. Like, do you know what I mean?
He got cacked by dogs.
Yeah.
Was a pack of German shepherds gangbanged him.
You know what I mean? Like, so before the written word, it must have been pretty bad as well, because people are pretty full of shit as a general rule, aren't they, when they tell a story?
Yeah.
Everyone exaggerates a bit.
That's the point of a story.
I mean,
You gotta make yourself look good, haven't you?
before the written word, it would have been like, mate, yeah, you know that bird, the one with, 3 teeth? Shagged her. You couldn't pull a bird with 3 teeth. I thought I fucking did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's full of shit
Of course they
to
are.
a certain extent. But yeah, anyway, I'm so high I really don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
The last bit here.
Oh.
The executions for heresy were far fewer in Spain than in all other prominent European countries.
Oh god, yeah, I mean the English courts at the time would hang you just for anything. Stealing a sheep, hanging.
In the 16th century, for example, the Spanish Inquisition executed 40 to 50 people for heresy. England in the same period executed 400 and the French Inquisition 300.
In all fairness, the English one at the time, remember, we were switching over from Protestantism to from Catholicism to Protestantism, Church of England. So a lot of
Cromwell was a bit of a cunt, wasn't he?
Cromwell was a bit of a cunt, in all fairness, religion-wise.
I think it's safe to say.
That's my historical opinion. Cromwell was a bit of a...
bit of a cunt.
I do actually like him though, Cromwell. Not the
Fucking hell, man.
not the
You really brought your gammon head on today.
not the whole
Here we go.
sort of religious execution thing he had going on. But Mike's miming me digging a hole. But I like the Civil War bit where you turn the parliamentarians into the first professional army we had. The
That's
modern
good, a
army.
state-sponsored army.
And then he, and he cut the king's head off because he was a prick as well, Charles I. So, just what he did after, you know.
You know, that Hitler, I like him. I don't like all the gas in the Jews and stuff, but the bit he did at the beginning,
the person,
he built up the...
before he did that killing, when he was painting, he was alright.
He was a vegetarian.
Well, I think the parliamentarian victory over the Royalists in the English Civil War was a fantastic piece of military generalship and training, providing the basis for a modern British army.
Yeah.
A modern professional
It's
British
probably
army.
best they won,
There you
to
go.
be fair. We didn't want to live in a monarchy, did we?
Well, that's it. You think about it today, you'd still have an absolute monarchy unless anything went tits up. You'd have the Queen literally running the country with whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah. So it's better. I'll give you that.
Founded British democracy, Mike.
Yeah, but he was a nutter.
Until he became a dictator.
Psychopath.
Oh yeah. Great general though.
Fucking hell.
You know, Churchill wanted to name a warship HMS Cromwell, and the royal family turned it down.
You know how we wanted to...
Yeah, no
They
surprises.
spoke against it.
No shit.
You know, we wanted to put together a sort of best of the show. Well, that's got to be one of the fucking clips, hasn't it? Ben defending fucking Oliver Cromwell.
I mean, the stuff he did in Ireland was obviously wrong.
What's big of you?
I'm brave. I need some sunglasses to protect my eyes from the brightness of your moral fucking white knight over there. Should we wrap up the Spanish Inquisition?
I just think how he got the parliamentarians to win the Civil War was a great achievement.
Okay, excellent. But then he went on to do some...
Yeah, he went on to do some bad shit. Obviously went mad with power.
Yeah.
Happens.
As all good men do.
Like a Targaryen king. You won't get that reference, Gaz, at Michael.
I have no idea. Is that Game of Thrones?
Yeah. We're hyped for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Next week, man, it's the Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
A lot of
Fucking is, man.
I know, I'm not saying it isn't. I don't know what it is.
100,000 dead whites.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sounds like a fucking SJW's wet dream. 100,000 dead white men.
No, we mean whites as in like reanimated corpses.
WIGHT.
Oh.
That type of white.
Yeah. Although in hindsight, no, Gaz saying that White Walker seems a bit iffy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? They're Black Walkers, is he?
No,
racist
that's a Black Walker.
Night King's a racist cunt.
This is how Mike feels when we talk about wrestling, isn't it? I don't like it.
You two either find something to talk about that excludes me.
What, like having morals and feelings?
I'm not idolising fascist dictators.
I'm not idolising a fascist dictator.
He's like, Rimmit, have you got your copy of Dictator Weekly?
It's in the same way that, it's in the same way that you can argue that even though all right.
Genghis Khan, you know. If it weren't for him.
Well, you can look
his
at
favourite's the one with the pull-out of Hermann Goering in drag.
That was every picture taken of Hermann Goering, pretty much.
The centrefold.
Dictator Weekly.
We are joking if you're a new listener. No fascists here.
No.
There it isn't.
No, there isn't. We're all pretty...
We just fantasises
we
about
just like
being
to laugh. We just like to laugh about it. Fantasise about it. I mean, I would look great in the uniform, but the SS uniform. But
oh God, Jesus Christ! Let's move on.
But in all fairness, Gaz has said some pretty bad stuff as well. His Aryanness and
what? No, I'm talking about the magical space ones, not the fucking not the Nazi ones.
No, we know what you're on about.
No, you don't.
We all know what you're on about.
No.
Yes.
I am way more fascist than you think I am, because I don't just think I'm one of the fucking like a Hitler's poster boy with the blonde hair, blue eyes. I actually think that I'm related to the fucking superpowered space alien men of Atlantis.
And that's why you look down on us all, obviously.
Obviously.
And every lesser being on the planet.
Obviously. Wouldn't you?
Well, no, I'd use my powers for good.
I mean, I do.
No, you don't.
I do. Everyone gets their deliveries on time.
Although there's people you've killed.
They had it coming, Ben.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
Necessary casualties.
Man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Slowly on the road.
Yeah, and over one or two of the bad ones. Nobody misses them. So I get away with it.
Can I call a piss break, please?
Almost finished.
Okay.
The Spanish Inquisition,
Yep.
over hundreds of years, executed between 3,000 and 5,000 people.
Wow.
During the same period, over 150,000 suspected witches alone were burned at the stake in the rest of Europe. So,
Comparatively.
in medieval Europe, Spain, under the Spanish Inquisition, was the safest place to be.
Wow.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. Mic drop.
All that being said, 3,000 to 5,000 victims are still 3,000 to 5,000 too many.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it depends. You don't know what they did.
Well, they'll confess to anything, so it doesn't really matter.
But they did exist and they were barbaric, but not any more barbaric than the rest of Europe.
Oh, yeah, it was a brutal time.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was a brutal time.
Oh.
Life meant very little.
So, essentially, it's a bit like me saying, well, yes, I'm a cunt, but him over there, he's just as much of a cunt.
If not more so.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it doesn't absolve their sins or crimes.
No.
It's just they've had a bad rap through propaganda. Wow, what a lesson.
Yeah.
I've learned something.
Interesting, isn't it?
It is.
I knew nothing about it until last week.
Wow. Yeah.
Right then, let's have a break and wrap this
Yeah.
bad boy up.
So yeah, Spanish Inquisition. Apparently not as bad as you thought.
But still
Still pretty bad.
bad, but not as bad as they make out. Bit like drugs, really. Propaganda, there you go.
Yeah.
It's all the same. So yeah, I think that concludes. I learned something.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There you go.
I learned I don't want a Judas spike up my arse.
No, definitely not. I am going to go home to the missus and say, can I give you the Judas spike? And she'll say, what's that? And I'll say, just brace yourself.
Brace yourself, I'm going in dry.
Oh man. I told her what Arctic boreholing was the other day.
Oh my god.
She still hasn't got over it. She keeps
I
bringing
bet.
it up at random times, like, I can't believe it. There's people out there like that. I'm not going to tell you, listener, I'm going to leave you in suspense if you don't know what it is. Google it now. Arctic boreholing.
I think we actually mentioned it in our Well to Hell episode. We were so
Yes.
battered. We mentioned it
Yeah.
twice because we forgot we mentioned it the first time.
That sounds like something we'd do.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We thought it was off air we were talking about it. It was actually on air.
We didn't realise we were recording.
Nah.
Ah, we're so good at this.
We are.
No wonder we're top of all those iTunes download charts.
I presume in some other alternate reality we are.
We will be one day. It's like The Secret. You know, you got to put it out there, believe it enough, and it'll come true.
Yeah?
You know, The Secret, that proven thing. I used to believe in it.
Yeah.
I got swept up in it for about a year. Then I realised it was bollocks.
Went back to sex magic instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that worked.
So
I stand by that.
What's the secret?
You just imagine all the things you want
Yeah.
and think positively about it constantly, all the time, never negative, and it comes true.
Right.
The law of attraction.
Okay.
Which, you know, there's some weird science to, like, if you've got a good energy and you're feeling positive, life does seem to be better and better things do seem to happen.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to
It's like that.
Matrix episode, doesn't it?
Mm.
It goes back to. Oh, fuck knows, it goes back to something. I forgot what I was going to say.
Mike just
Oh yeah,
fell
perception is reality.
down. Oh, there you go.
Perception is
He
reality.
just fell down the biggest weed hole. But he found a ladder and he climbed back out. Perception is reality, very true. But then it goes into stuff like you have something called a dream board, where you put a board up with literal photos, pictures of the things you want to manifest. You know, and it's all well and good millionaires who endorse it saying, work for me. Well, of course it worked for you, it worked, you're a millionaire, but like,
Yeah.
just willing yourself, can you will yourself out of poverty, will yourself into richness, just by believing it will happen?
I think
No.
there is something to be
Hard
said
work has to be
for a
involved,
positive attitude, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you, I don't know to be fair, but I think there is something to be said for
Me
it.
too.
But I don't believe that it's as easy as just
No.
believing it and it's going to come true. I mean, that's wishful thinking at best, isn't
Yeah.
it?
If you dream it, it can happen. No.
Although sex magic, I have proven. Remember,
Yeah.
if you're a long time listener of the show, since back from the first episode, I started off single, and the main porn that I would watch. This is getting a bit in depth, but it's for a reason. The main thing I would watch whilst pleasuring myself would be skinny blonde girls, right? Now, the way sex magic works is what you're thinking of at the point of orgasm has way more chance of coming true, even if it's you're orgasming on your own, it don't matter.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
all
beauty
about-
of it,
it's all about
baby.
the orgasm.
That's the fucking beauty of it. So I spent so much time thinking about skinny blonde girls, I ended up falling in love with a skinny blonde girl who really likes me, loves me too, which is pretty awesome. So it works, proven. There you go. Anecdotal evidence, doesn't matter, scientific. But the difficulty comes where if what you really want is a big house and a nice sports car and a successful business, it's hard to think about that at the point of ejaculation. Do you know what I mean? Without ruining it for yourself. If at the
Yeah.
point of coming, all you're thinking about is like real estate. Do you know what I mean? Like, aren't you?
What would you think
might be-
about that when you orgasm?
Because then you.
Oh, I'd love to sell an house.
Because that's how
Oh.
sex magic works. You've got to think
Yeah.
about it at the point of orgasm to bring it to reality. So that's my point. I proved it worked, but it's pretty easy to think about skinny blonde girls when you jacking off to skinny dung-hills. But what I'm saying is, if you want to manifest a house or richness, you've got to think about that every time you spaff.
Well, if someone could try it and let us know.
You're going to have to edit together your own bespoke porn video that is like the porn you really like, and then right at the end,
signs.
yeah, time it at 3 minutes, it just edits in pictures of houses.
What if you want a bigger cock?
Well, you're going to have to change the kind of porn you watch.
You have to think of a cock at mid-orgasm.
I don't think you can manifest like physiological changes.
It works for that.
Yeah, I don't think you like. I really want to be a Power Ranger.
Bro, it's growing 6 inches.
I've been thinking about it 4 times a wank, 4 times a day for 2 years, and now look, 6 inches. No, Mike, I don't think. You put on your vision board a big giant cock.
The worst is if you do that, you'll just end up turning gay.
Yes.
Or getting pumped.
This isn't what I want.
I don't think you turn gay just because you're looking at cocks, Ben. I think that's the way it works.
Is if you keep doing
It's like, you hit a certain level, oh, I've seen too many cocks. No, I'm gay now.
like, it's sex magic. It's sex magic.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Wow.
Well, all I'm saying is I manifested the love of my life through wanking. So,
Hey.
go for it. Can we go on a piss
Yeah.
break? I'm not going to wank, I promise.
So you
Think of
say.
houses.
Right, so let's get on to some weird news to finish off on, and then full Alex. Have we got full Alex?
Yep.
Fantastic.
Let's get the boys' views on this week's weird news.
Okay, I'll take this one then. Eating on a toilet next to condoms or corpses, the world's weirdest restaurants.
That's a headline, isn't it?
If you fancy dining in the dark or trying to eat while ninjas fly at you, we have just the place.
Okay.
Diners looking for an eating experience the difference need look no more. Europe's first underwater restaurant has recently opened in Norway with a gigantic viewing window with which you can see the ocean while you dine. The restaurant, called Under, is in big demand with more than 7,000 people already booked to eat there.
Wow.
But it isn't the only unusual restaurant where you can dine in style.
Wow.
We have the Toilet Humor in Shanghai.
Okay.
Shanghai even.
Lord.
You sit on a toilet to eat. Still with your trousers up and the lid down,
Yeah.
so it's a bit sort of. It just looks like they've thought,
It's very comical.
it doesn't work for me.
Looks like
That's what it within it.
and paying like £500 for a steak.
Yeah. I wish I had a cushion.
Yeah, and then we should mention underneath the glass top table there is a bowl with a comedy-looking poo swirl.
Yeah.
See, I don't want that next to me while I eat.
Think of the poo emoji. There's sort of one of them, like a 3D poo.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want that by me while I eat. I know it's fake, but it's just I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, no, me either.
Tall order in Kenya.
Giraffes are terrifying. I should explain why. Sorry, listener. It appears at this restaurant you eat with giraffes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had
I
heads
love 'em.
coming in through the window. Man,
I've
I had to drive past them at the safari park. There was like 3 or 4 of them on the path. Like you literally drive amongst them and their heads come in the window to feed. I felt like I was fucking. The stuff they give you stuff
Yeah.
to feed.
They're feeding on the children.
Yeah. No.
Taking children out of their windows.
Giant giraffes. I felt like I was in Jurassic Park. I did. It was horrific. The kids are like, "Oh my gosh!" Like so excited about feeding them, and I'm like, "Ah!" I was every fibre in my DNA. I just wanted to floor it. Just like,
Put them down. Then you realise you weren't in the van.
go between their legs. Just, fuck this. It's a living nightmare.
Did you get out the car and pop a flare and run?
I wanted to.
Just kids, they can't see you if you sit still.
But no, I had to keep it cool. Whew.
You know, I actually watched the original Jurassic Park again recently.
I bet it stands up.
It fucking does. It's still
I love that
fucking
film.
brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
man.
The second
Oh, yeah.
was okay.
Fuck the giraffe
Yeah,
restaurant.
Pete Postlethwaite says that
Yeah.
film. He's great.
The third was a bag of shit.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah, so you use the giraffes to stick your head. They stick their heads into the window and eat your food.
Yep.
In the dark in London.
Wow.
Looks like he's eating in the dark, really.
Yep.
But it's a surprise menu, complete in the dark by visually impaired servers. So how does he know what I've ordered?
Visually impaired.
Sounds like a fucking accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, it does. I didn't order the burger.
It sounds like a Monty Python sketch.
Smash! What was that up in me dinner's here? Someone just face plants next to you. Fucking plates go up in the air. Fuck.
And you have to go to the Lunar Dark as well. Pissing all over your hush puppies.
The kind of person who goes to that restaurant would wear hush puppies.
Probably.
Not for me. Dead quiet in India. The new lucky restaurant in India, diners break bread amongst the dead.
Wow.
The diner's built on graves, which the owner believes is a lucky charm.
Fuck me. They win. Is that even hygienic?
Especially graves are buried and sealed and everything, aren't they? It's...
I suppose it'd be worse if they were just rotting corpses.
Yeah, they're just propped up Weekend at Bernie's style. Corpse propped
up. Have a lambooner, please.
This word is strange, you know.
Oh man. Fucking hell.
Safe sex in Thailand. Cabbages and Condoms is launched in Thailand by Mekal Viravadia. He said you can go to any shop in Thailand and you'll always find cabbages. Condoms should be like cabbages, which are ubiquitous and accessible to everybody. So the name Cabbages and Condoms was conceived.
It's a Solar Warden album.
Cabbages and Condoms, yeah.
Cabbages and Condoms.
Definitely. Basically, the waiter's wearing a condom on his head.
Cabbages and Condoms.
It sounds like a really good time at the special school.
Wow, 2 taboos in one.
Oh. Oh, you're going straight to hell.
I don't mean it.
Heretic!
Heretic, burning.
The waiter's got a condom over his head.
Yeah. I mean...
Yep.
Inflated from the... he's got his mouth free, but he's from the sort of nose up. He's got a condom on his head.
I saw the way the guy's looking at him.
If that costs extra just because he's got a fucking Johnny on his head. These people have got issues. The people that eat there, I mean.
Yeah.
Fucking tit heads. On condom heads.
Plane crazy in Bolton.
Okay.
You just got a plane, basically.
That's not that mad, is
No,
it really?
not really.
Boeing 737.
Doesn't take off though.
Chop and drop. New York.
Ninjas flying from all directions while you eat, creeping out of cupboards or jumping right in front of you as you got the bathroom. I just sound
I'm not for
stressful.
that. No, I'd enjoy that one. And if I accidentally pissed on a ninja, it's his fault for surprising me at that exact moment.
The Hearty Feed in Las Vegas. Heart Attack Grill.
Yep.
Wow.
If you're over £350, you eat free there.
Wow.
Fuck yeah. They've got a really big door.
They fucking have.
Well, we couldn't eat free there, could we?
No.
You want to read it?
The Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas is all about the guest participation. Diners known as patients have to dress in hospital gowns where they sit, which are handed to them by the waitresses who are dressed as nurses. Ooh. Menus are prescriptions and they feature burgers which are temptingly called the triple bypass and quadruple bypass.
Well,
Don't fancy any of them then.
nah.
I go the burger one, definitely.
If I had to, gun to my head, I would go
Look
to
at
the
the size
ninja
of
one.
Oh, I'd definitely go that burger one.
There's probably about a dozen burgers
Mate, that's
there.
fucking colon cancer on a plate.
It is, but fuck me, that'd be nice. It's well worth it.
Literally a dozen burgers with a dozen slices of cheese.
Can't they see the irony of wearing like fucking hospital gowns while they're eating it?
The triple bypass here.
This is so funny.
No, they're scrubs. You just dispose of them, so you get all that cheese when it runs down your front, all that fat dripping down. You're not
There's
wrecking your
a
own
metaphor
clothes.
going on there.
Yeah.
And the fact that like the fucking picture outside the restaurant, you saw it. It was a heart monitor. You know the triangle.
Heart Attack Grill, it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Fuck me.
Oh, I'd still go that burger. Oh,
I'd have a go at it.
You know
That's
what?
probably one of the most American things I've ever seen in my life.
I could go for that burger right about now.
It is.
What do you want for your birthday, honey? I really want to go to the Heart Attack Grill.
I want that burger. It's making me hungry looking at it.
Fuck that.
Oh, yeah. So that's that one then.
Okay. Doctors urge women to stop putting garlic in their vaginas.
I heard about this.
one.
We had parsley last time.
Jesus, how many vegetables are women putting inside themselves?
Well, this year alone, doctors have already warned women not to put bath bombs, parsley and cucumber in their lady parts.
It's the internet.
And now they're back with another important myth-busting message. That's not to insert garlic cloves into your vagina, ladies, because apparently that's a thing some people are actually doing at the moment.
Wow. Is this like a Gwyneth Paltrow sort of idea, do you think?
Well, and
She likes all that kind of weird stuff.
probably came from Goop.
Gynecologist Dr. Jennifer Gunter, who wrote the Vagina Bible,
Right?
has issued a public message to women explaining exactly why it's a terrible idea to put garlic in your nether regions. She wrote why you should not put garlic in your vagina. Garlic contains allicin. In the lab, it may have antifungal, i.e. anti-yeast properties. This is in a lab, not even in mice, just a dish of cells. Your vagina is not a dish of cells.
That should be a t-shirt.
Garlic could have bacteria from the soil. Bacteria from the soil can be pathogenic, bad for the body. That's why we clean wounds. If you actually happen to have an inflamed, yeasty vagina,
Wow.
that soil bacteria would be more likely to infect.
Wow. I imagine it would, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But why are people putting vegetables, like, God, why are people, cucumbers I can understand,
Yeah.
but, you know, the garlic and the parsley and the bath bombs, weirdly. I mean, why would you decide, you know what, I'm going to pop that in myself.
Because people are that thick, they go online, read some complete stranger say, yeah, stick a bath bomb in your pussy, it really works. Makes you super nice and clean and lemony fresh. You know, and then that's all it takes. They're like, well, I've already known the Twitter.
Yeah,
I can stick it in my shitter. No, my pisser.
Well, wherever.
Wherever it'll fit. Yes.
Yeah.
Well.
I think that's pretty much the meat and bones of that one, isn't it?
Yes.
Ladies, don't put garlic in your vaginas.
But me instead. Sorry, that was creepy. I apologise. Cut that bit, Mike.
Leave it in.
Yeah.
Next one.
Yeah?
Okay.
Last one.
Hey, do I get to do this one?
Yep.
Woohoo! Sex robot brothel opens in Japan amid surge of men wanting bisexual threesomes.
That's what I'm putting it.
A sex robot brothel has opened in Japan and is set to introduce male sex dolls following a surge in men wanting bisexual threesomes. Boss Sergei Prieto wanted to offer customers a chance to carry out their, quote, wildest fantasies and launched the Lumi Dolls venue in the city of Nagoya.
Nagoya, I think.
Nagoya. Yeah, maybe.
It follows previous openings at spots including Russia, Spain and Italy. The new location boasts on the website, quote, live the futuristic sex with the hottest Asian Lumi dolls. It offers a 3-hour session for 36,000 yen, which is about £250, and a 1-hour session for 113,000 yen, which is 90 quid.
Doesn't seem that expensive.
You could choose what the dolls wear. One of the rooms where customers can get... Oh, that's just a quote under a photograph that I should not be reading. Ignore me. I am professional. The website adds, quote, for the first time, Lumi Dolls is in Nagoya. Lumi Dolls bring the world's first hyper-realistic sex doll brothel. Futuristic sex can be experimented right now. Live the most fantastic date with your favourite anime character. Make your erotic dreams come true and spend an unforgettable eve with one or more Lumi Dolls. You will be charmed.
STD is a matter for the course.
Please note you're responsible for cleaning out the vagina.
Have you a vagina receptacle?
Man, punters can choose what the dolls will be wearing during the romp. Options include basic lingerie, schoolgirl outfit, fitness gear, or, quote, executive woman.
Wow.
Executive woman!
Stay away from me.
I haven't done my tax return. Executive woman.
I used to think the adverts like futuristic sex, futuristic.
Robo-pussy. They also accept special requests, and so far have 4 dolls on offer, including Erica, who boasts an E-cup breast size. Speaking of the decision to introduce male sex dolls, Boss Prieto told Daily Star Online, quote, "We have recently attended to several clients who request an appointment with male dolls and female dolls at the same time."
Oh,
crazy bastard.
Dinky bastard.
Probably bisexual or heterosexual, who want to experience anal sex without interacting directly with a man of flesh and blood.
Or maybe they just want to run a train through this. He wants to run a train through the female robot sex doll, and he needs another bloke to come in and do it with him.
Or rather than flesh and blood, he prefers pistons and hydraulics
Exactly.
and circuit boards. And the grip of death as it strangles him and it malfunctions.
You really should watch Westworld. I think you'd enjoy it. You love a robot.
Yeah,
You
I
love
do
a bit of
love a
science,
robot.
you know?
I
The
have
first
no
series
objection
is
to it.
amazing.
I like the second.
I've seen at least an episode with some cowboys in it. Anyway, if you're in Japan and you want to fuck a robot, you can.
I can lend you the
I
DVDs
think-
if you want.
Of what? Robots fucking in Japan?
Yeah. No, Westworld.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, I think that concludes the weird news for this week.
Yeah. And I can lend you the DVDs of robots fucking in Japan if you want to.
Thank you very much. I can lend you one called Bridget the Midget.
No.
Oops, sorry, cut the mics.
I'll pass.
Okay. She's very pretty.
I'm sure
I'm joking.
I'm sure she is. Just not my cup of tea, guys, you know. Right, so let's finish on full. Let's not finish on full, Alex. That's wrong. Let's end the show on full,
That's a
Alex.
completely different
That's a
kind of
completely
video.
different thing.
Ben's just revealed his deepest actual fantasy. He's always going on about wanting to fight Alex Jones, but what he really wants to do is finish all over his manly chest.
After I beat him up. In a boxing match. That he still won't comment
Very
on.
specific fantasy.
That he still won't accept.
Okay.
So,
Again, I don't think he knows about the challenge, Ben, to be fair to Alex.
someone will tell him.
He can't just go, it's like me just going, tell you what, I fight Mike Tyson. Do you hear that? I haven't heard anything from him. He's ducking me. It doesn't work like that.
Hey, good copy.
Okay. So what are we doing now, Ben?
Right, we're going to play full, Alex.
Were you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco?
Let's play full, Alex. The premise of the game is Mike finds us a couple of random weirdos on the internet, usually bigots or just general nutcases, who will be pitted against the arch saint of insanity himself, Saint Alex Jones, one of the patron saints of the show, along with Tony Blair and David Icke. And we decide who's gone more full Alex this week, because it's alright to go a little bit Alex. It's alright to go a quarter Alex,
Yeah.
half Alex, 3/4 Alex.
If the subject requires.
Exactly, but you should never go full Alex.
Ever.
So let's start this. Who's up first, Mike?
Up first, the firefighter prophet.
Oh, it's fucking
here we
David
go.
Mead.
Mark Taylor.
I thought it was... Oh, yeah, sorry, Mark, I'm getting confused.
Mead's the Nibiru guy.
That's it, yeah.
He says that abortion rights activists will advocate the killing of pregnant women.
Wow.
I think that's not the point.
When you're
though.
talking about
Alright.
control and the abortion issue that go hand in hand, it's also the population control. This is about controlling the population because on the Georgia Guidestones, they only want 500 million people on the planet. And it's all written right there on the Georgia Guidestones. My friend Sheila Holm is the one that exposed a lot of this stuff in the Georgia Guidestones. Her and Chris McDonald actually physically went there. She's been there numerous times, done shows on it or stories on it. She's written it in her books plenty of times. All that information is in her books. So, I mean, but when you look at the population control, and I'll tell you what else is probably going to be exposed, and I'll release it here for the first time. I haven't even said this publicly, I don't believe, is that look for these guys, the extreme left, the extreme globalists, that when a woman gets pregnant, their goal will be to take the woman and the child.
Wow. So
Because
how?
you're actually getting, and I hate to use this phrase, but you know, I just, you got to call it like you see it, but it's like taking two birds in one shot almost. Because when they look for that somewhere in the world that these elites go, you know what, when you get pregnant at this point, we're going to take the mother and the child.
Well, he's a prick.
He's living in a fucking fantasy world.
I mean, he peddles this and he gets paid for it.
First of all, I would like to say to the firefighter prophet, thank you for your service. Nah, he's a prick, isn't he? I don't know what he's on about. Well, I know what he's on about, and he's wrong, isn't he?
Well, just, I mean, yeah, all right. Those
pro-abortionists are going to say, right, you're pregnant.
Yep.
Got to take you and the kid.
Yeah. We're just going to shoot you in the head. Just have done with it.
The fuck saying? Who the fuck is saying that?
And it's the extreme left who were the ones who are tolerant of abortions.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying they're that tolerant of abortions. Instead of just taking the baby, they're going to abort the.
Take both.
They're going to take the woman as well.
That's just lunacy. Just defeats the whole point of having an abortion in the first place.
Yeah, but
they're saying, well, you want an abortion, you're going to have to go as well.
They're left-wing fascists, aren't they? According to him.
Oh, well, he's a cock, isn't he?
Well, obviously.
You know.
He might have saved quite a lot of cats out of trees, though, over the years.
He may have done. The worst of it is, though, is that more people listen to him than they do listen to us.
Yes, of course they do, because he used to be a fireman, and he believes in God. And therein lies the answer, Ben. We just don't believe enough.
Goddamn.
We're not one of the God's anointed ones.
Oh well. So technically, as a prophet, he should be burned as a witch.
Well, yeah.
You know?
And the irony
He's
of the fireman prophet being burnt at the stake.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And then just for good measure, you could cave his head in with his fire axe.
Or a fire extinguisher.
Oh, I
Stove
like
his
it.
head in with a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Love that expression.
Me too.
Right, that's Mark Taylor, fireman, and lunatic.
Good start.
Okay, next up, Rick Wiles
Oh.
says we must prepare our grandchildren to die rather than be microchipped.
Actually, being microchipped is a big thing. I don't like the idea of that, and it seems to be heading down the pipeline.
Just give him an iPhone.
Well, yeah, actually, mobile phone is the best tracking device they'll ever give you. It has GPS, for fuck's sake. It literally knows where you are at all times. It's listening to your conversations.
You don't need no microchip. I don't know why I said it like that.
You're going to go
Man,
into a
I
rap.
don't need no microchip.
You're going to go into a rap.
Yeah, for the anti-microchip song.
I used to love microchips. You remember them who give the black boxes sticking with the chips you put in the microwave? They're fucking
Oh,
awesome.
microwave chips.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I was thinking that he was never into computers. Not like that. You don't know how one works.
What are they
You
called?
just shake it upside down.
What are they called microchips?
Yeah, but you need to elaborate for the listener. You're specifically referring to microwave chips, which were a small black box of potato chips. No, just chips.
Yeah.
Potato chips are crisps. Yeah, anyway. I lived off them for a few years. I'd get them from school and just put in like 2 boxes. And like, yep.
There we go.
Absolutely no nutritional value to speak of. But the hunger
fat
pains
and
have gone.
chemicals. It's fat and chemicals and 3% potato.
Them were the days.
Yeah.
Stuff. Right, back to this cunt.
We'll all be on microchips after Brexit.
Oh no, if we're lucky.
That'll be the staple food.
They'll come and take the microwaves.
That's true.
Microwave tax.
There'll be no power.
There'll be housewives killing themselves by just putting the head in the microwave.
Alright, so what's Rick Wiles then? Come on, let's listen to this lunatic.
For the first time, Doc, I think it's possible. I really think it's possible. I'm going to see it in my lifetime.
After this past week?
After this week, I now think it's realistic that I can be alive and see Christ return. Before, just don't know. You don't know. But now, this thing's moving so fast that I'm now thinking it's very possible that I'm going to be alive to see it. But I do know this. I have 2 children.
Poor
And I have
bastards.
grandchildren.
Oh.
And I've got to do everything I can to make sure they are ready. Oh God, my soul grieves for the children, the little children.
No, it doesn't.
1 year old right now, 2, 3, 4, and they're growing up in this godless world. And they're going to be indoctrinated to believe that they should be chipped. You're going to have to take a stand for Jesus Christ, and it's going to cost you your life.
It's not going to be over.
That's fair.
I'm not lying to you.
Yes, you are.
And I'm trying to get myself spiritually and psychologically strengthened for that day.
Right.
It's not, look, I can handle, I'm you know, at my age, I've lived most of my life, okay? If I get executed 10, 15 years from now, okay, most of my life's gone. But what about my grandchild? Am I going to stand there and watch them execute my grandchildren?
Oh, Lord. Who?
How did we get to
And you
this?
didn't prepare your grandchildren?
How did we get to this?
Are you going to accept, you're telling me you're going to end your time on this earth and stand before God someday knowing that you didn't prepare your grandchildren to resist the Antichrist and you watched them get chipped?
Well,
You're going to promise your grandchildren they're going to be raptured, and the rapture is a lie. What are you going to do when your grandchildren are chipped? What are you going to do when your son and daughter are microchipped? What are you going to do when your pastor is microchipped?
Pastor.
Fucking hell.
How did we go from just like, oh yeah, I've got a grandchild. They're going to execute my grandchildren. What the fuck happened? Did I miss something? Did I fall asleep?
He believes in the story, doesn't he? The Antichrist is going to come back.
No, he doesn't believe in anything apart from money.
Oh, he believes that, come on.
No. He just believes in money. He's just telling that to people.
No, I think he believes that, doesn't he, Gaz?
The bottom of the
That's
screen.
sincere, that is.
No.
He believes that this is going to happen. He believes he's
well,
going to
it's
see
hard to
Christ.
tell.
He doesn't believe your own bullshit.
He does.
He doesn't.
This
This is a masquerade. And in the bottom of the screen flashes up, partner with us, support True News. It's all about money.
I'm not saying it isn't.
He doesn't believe any of that. He's just...
Come on, he's a religious nut. Of course he believes it.
No,
it's
it's all
fundamental to his beliefs.
Some of this is just all for show.
It's fundamental to his beliefs, Ben. He believes he's going to see Christ come back.
In his lifetime.
In his lifetime.
But in 10,
He's
15
just
years, he's going to get executed for some unknown...
Because of the Antichrist, isn't it? The Antichrist is going to come first. 7 years, the Antichrist, and then... At least he doesn't believe in the rapture, I'll give him that.
He did, he said it with the rapture.
No, he said it'll be a lie.
Oh, right.
He doesn't believe in it.
Okay, so let's move on to what Alex Jones would say. What's he say this week, Mike?
He smokes weed and thinks that he's God.
Who doesn't?
The Joe Rogan podcast.
Excellent. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Alex Jones or the Joe Rogan podcast?
Both.
That is his appearance.
You're all smoking weed?
I just want to say this, I want to be clear. So we're on this planet, the third dimension, which is a launch pad to all the other dimensions below and above. These wizards are taking drugs in these temples and interfacing with these palantirs, these crystal balls, which aren't really crystal balls, it's their psychic focus of an interdimensional connection while they're on drugs looking into glass to then be able to see the future and understand what's happening to give them temporal power over this planet.
Explain that.
So let me tell you what's really going on. I'm God, I'm already God, I've achieved godhood. God knows everything except where God came from. You're legitimately freaking the fuck out.
Well, Alex for me.
See, I'm just going with Alex
Balls, which aren't
being stoned.
It's
And
wonderful to behold.
It is, but I've got, who we got? So we got, let's go back. Let's put it into perspective. We got Mark Taylor, who says abortion rights activists will start killing pregnant women in a 2-for-1 special. Right?
Okay, I may be rethinking my...
And then we've got Rick Wiles, who says we've got to prepare our grandchildren to die rather than be microchipped, and literally launched from microchipping to living another 10, 15 years, being executed by some kind of government hit squad and watching his grandchildren get executed in front of him first.
Yeah.
Now that you say
He worked for the Antichrist.
He worked for the Antichrist. He got upside down crosses on their black.
when you
body
put it
armour.
like that, I think I'm going with him. I've changed my decision.
I mean, Alex is a performance, yes.
Yeah, I've changed.
He does think that there are wizards in temples.
Yeah.
Well,
Taking
Communicating
drugs.
with gods through drugs.
Yeah.
And crystal balls.
Crystal ball.
And yes, again, he does then say he's God, which David,
But he's high.
another patron saint to the show, David, I got ripped for completely.
I think, to be fair, that's been edited a bit out.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Because
go
he
second
says
row.
the wizards believe they're God. I don't think Alex actually believes
No,
that.
I'm going with number 2. What are you saying, guys?
So, watching your grandchildren get executed because by Antichrist stormtroopers,
We got it.
or abortion activists will advocate the killing of pregnant women, I'm going to go for the underdog. I'm going to say Mark Taylor.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Deciding vote.
He's
Mike.
never won. He's never won. And I think this is batshit insane.
It is
enough to give it a
insane,
show.
isn't it? It is insane.
His whole argument defeats the point of abortion.
Well, no, it gets rid of the baby, but actually it's like super abortion.
It is. It's where it's super abortion literally wears a fucking cape.
Yeah, because you get rid of the baby and you get rid of the mom, who won't have any more babies in the future.
But then the Georgia Guidestones also say that he's literally taking the Georgia Guidestones as not advice like we suspected they were the other week, but as like, this is what they're going to do. They're going to kill everybody. These left-wing activists. they're gonna kill mothers and babies at the same time.
These left-wing globalists.
Left-wing globalists. Exactly.
Execute.
It's like,
then again, actually,
anti-globalism. They're for like fucking, local source locally. You know what I mean? It's complete opposite.
Source locally globalism.
Come on, man.
I'm going with Mark Taylor. That's my pick.
I'm going second guy.
I'm going to go with the second guy. I know the first guy is very close, but this guy is batshit insane. I mean, he's literally prepared to kill his grandchildren
rather than give them a
microchip.
I mean, I don't want a microchip, but if I've got to choose between the two, I'll go with the chip.
Yeah, me too. And surely I'll kill my grandchildren if they don't get the chip. Can you just move countries? You've got enough money. You're selling this shit.
He's saying it might be maybe it's a global thing.
Oh, it's a global thing. Well, he's at this point, this fucker's playing enough money to go to space.
Well, let's wrap it up then. I think we can conclude he's a bit of an evil nut job.
Oh yeah. He's a return winner, isn't he, Rick Wiles?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's won a couple.
He's won before. He's a pro.
It was the newbie who won 2 on the spin.
Bobby Connor.
Bobby Connor.
Right then.
Well, I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. Don't drink the Flavour Aid and don't join a cult.
I've been Gaz. Free Biff Tannen.
I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you. Good night.